But so anyway, just for ease, A and B, those are the fields, pastures, whatever you want to call them, that Pete's now keeping to a 4-inch height. Pete and I are working on where can we grow more wildflowers out there so he's not having to mow so much, because it's very hard to keep that at 4 inches. And I would like to see more wildflowers out there. But anyway, we're working on that. And then, so I have everything divided up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, just for ease of conversation. So 1 is the area between our parking lot and our neighbor, where we have the oleanders, thank you, growing, except not all the oleanders are not able to continuously grow there to provide a screen. Some of them that's just not the spot for an oleander. So I'm trying 3 different things there to grow. Oh, but anyway, yes. So I'm trying some flame acanthus out there, because that can grow up into a nice bush. And go on back. Let me start at the beginning. Go back one more. So this is my motto. One more. Maximizing curb appeal while minimizing maintenance. That is my motto for everything I do. I want people, when they're driving by, to look at something nice and appealing to the eye. And granted, that's different for everybody. For me, I don't want it to be overgrown like it was when I first got here. It kind of looked like a haunted house, kind of overgrown to me. So that's why some things I'm trying to get them to grow taller so that they won't obscure the view of the church. And minimizing maintenance, I want y'all to think about all the volunteers we have who currently work outside. We've got 3 regular volunteers. And my 2 to 3 hours every Saturday, I'm not able to make what I'm doing, and I'm not even matching what Pete does. And I know Clarissa's a lot, so we have a lot of great ideas, and then you have to think about, well, how much work is your great idea going to require? And I'm not willing to put in that much work. I do work full-time, so I want to minimize maintenance. Yep, that's what maintenance is: watering, fertilizing, pruning, shaping, removing dead vegetation. That has to be all year round, no matter what you're growing out there. So my preference is native, drought-tolerant landscaping that requires minimum maintenance and the deer don't eat. And my priority is something that flowers, that the insects and the birds will appreciate, preferably not the deer. That's a challenge.
I mean, it's just not right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree with you, but other people will point out that is a snake and wildflower hazard. Other people do like it to be a lawn. So there's a lot of different strong opinions about what to do out in the front. And my personal request is, let's go to the person who maintains it and ask him what would be easiest for you to do, because he's the one doing the work. So anyway, there's 3 different bushes I'm trying to grow over here where the
oleander.
Thank you. The oleander are not growing or not thriving. Some of them grow, but they're not providing a screen like we wanted them to. Yeah.
Joan, the ones that are out there right now are the ones that survived the freeze. And then we planted a whole bunch of new ones after the freeze, and none of those survived. Because we had drought, and we had drought. And none of the ones we planted survived, but the ones that survived the freeze, like that's a picture from last week, there's several that are fine, and those will stay. They're fine. They're blooming and they're beautiful. But to create a screen, she's planted a lot of other plants.
So yeah, so that's where I tried the flame acanthus, see how it does. And then to the right of the flame acanthus is where I'm trying a red brush lippia. I don't know. The other answer here is you can go on Google and you can get all the education from all the agriculture schools, but really you just have to plant it in the ground and see what happens.
Are those that you're planting and any others you're considering native plants? Because Texas does not tolerate the lovely ornament.
Everyone. Everyone.
Have you gone to our county extension office to get some input? And we also have places that give free plants away all the time. Have you gotten some free ones?
The free ones that they had are ones that I didn't want. Because I went to the free tree giveaway at Arbor Day that was at Landa Park, and I was too late and they had ones that I didn't want. But I did about over 20 plants from the San Antonio Botanical Garden. Is where all these came from. And they just do native plants.
I'm a member of the Lindheimer, but there's also one in New Braunfels, and they were giving away free trees. So they were giving, like cedar elm, and I mean all native trees. So maybe they should have another one in the fall. I don't know if I'll be around, but maybe try and look for that, and you might be able to pick up a free tree.
It is, and then it comes to where are we going to put it. But yeah, there are opportunities for free trees. Yep. And Clarissa mentioned the Lindheimer group. They are very good with native because that's what Mr. Lindheimer did. And they have some great plants around their yard. But anyway, and also I'm planting the Mexican firebush. We'll see what the deer don't eat and manages to live out there in section number 1. All right, next.
Have you tried Esperanza? It's almost impossible.
I do love those. Those are beautiful. They only grow about as tall as I am. And they're along there. Yep. Do you think that would be a tall enough screen? Yeah, they die back in the freeze. They can, and they also grow very wide. So someone would have to trim them off the parking lot. But somebody asked about the Esperanzas. There's a yellow one, and now there's an orange one. They're trumpet-shaped. The hummingbirds really like them. Yep, they love the heat, they love the drought, and if it gets too cold, they will die back in the ground and just pop back up like the pride of Barbados. The bad thing around them is that they're very wide as well, but they're definitely an option. Yeah, if they grow that tall, you bet.
Area. One is that it's not covered by the sprinkler system, so that area has to be hand watered. That's part of the reason why the oleanders don't do better than they are doing, is because they're only getting watered when it rains. That's a big issue. The other is that another potential reason why those trees or those bushes don't last is because of the ground. We have to remember that this was a gravel quarry at one time, and then after that it was a landfill. So we do not have the greatest ground to grow any kind of bushes in. So those are a couple of major things that we need to realize.
You're right. So anything that gets planted out there needs a volunteer to make sure that it stays watered.
I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm going to defer to you as the expert, and I know we all have ideas and we all have favorite plants, but, I mean, whatever comes out today, I'm gonna go with your suggestion, and I think we all probably feel that way, or at least,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yep. So, but yeah, it comes down to I'll plant them, I'll water them, and we'll see what can make it out there. I don't know.
I'm just going to have to ask, if it's that hard to get get plants going and keep them going, why are we cutting them down and taking them out? I'm sorry I had to ask the question.
Because somebody has to maintain them, and that's been me. And I've asked for help this year, and I got 2 people that said, I'll help you, but they haven't helped as much as is needed. So the Pride of Barbados has just been moved to where it doesn't have to be trimmed. Nobody has to maintain it over there. That's why. We still have it. Okay, so that's the Pride of Barbados. A lovely plant, the zebra swallowtail butterflies. Love that. It's very hardy. It loves to grow very wide and tall. That is the perfect place for it to grow wide and tall to its heart's content. I've got 2 of them over there. And also right now, down to it is a rock rose, another hardy plant. We'll see if the deer don't eat it. See if it grows. Pretty much that's going to be what I say on pretty much every plant. We'll see if it grows. No changes there. Those bushes have very low maintenance. The deer don't eat them. They're drought tolerant. Check. Very good. Okay, so this is number 3 or 4. Thank you. You've got it labeled 4. So we have a crepe myrtle that I'm training to grow up. I have to keep cutting back all the little feeders, but want it to grow taller. The yellow lantana is already there and doing well. Also next to it is a white lantana. Last year was the first year I saw a white lantana. I was like, ooh, I want some of that. And Copper Canyon Daisy. Oh, this one's going to require more maintenance. But you are either going to love the smell of that or you're going to hate the smell of that. It goes both ways, but it's very easy to get some of its essence on you and smell it. So just, if you want to go see what it smells like, I mean, you can, but you might make you gag because some people really don't like it. But it's very drought tolerant, and the deer do not eat that. And right next to it, I also have some hot lips salvia growing, which the hummingbirds love. And they have a multicolor. Each leaf will be some combination of white and red. That's also growing there. And oh yeah, the desert globe mallow. This is a new one for me. It's supposed to be shrubby and woolly, apricot to orange pink flowers. It depends. The same plant can produce different colors. Low maintenance, reseeds itself, everything I love. And steady source of nectar to honeybees and other insects. It's supposed to flower pretty much all year. We'll see what happens. And I think that's all. Yep, moving on to the next part. We've got our 3 friends, the crepe myrtle, Carlos lantana. There's so many kinds of lantana. It's just, I tried to not get one of the ones that'll grow too tall, too bushy, but that one sure is beautiful. And the butterflies. Oh yeah, the paprika, the deer came and ate those, and that's why they're in a cage now. So we'll see. The deer haven't touched that yet, but that's another drought tolerant, very good plant to have out there. The vitex, yes, that one the butterflies are all over, and I'm training it to grow up. It keeps wanting to grow into a bush, and I'm like, no, you need to grow up to like a tree. And also with the crepe myrtle. Oh, and the guara. The deer have always been eating the flowers off of that one, and I did put out a little deer alarm that I'm trying. It's supposed to turn on at sunset and make loud, scary noises during the night. But those deer, I guess those are like crack to the deer. They don't care. They're still eating those. They're leaving the paprika alone. The Diamond Dominica daisy. That one it might not be able to grow there because it likes rocks the best. That's its favorite place to grow is in the rocks. So, but I was like, well, let's try. See what happens. pigeonberry that makes berries that the plants love, and that's their flowers, the same thing. Hummingbirds and butterflies like them. So that's what I have trying to grow there. And our friend, the desert willow, which I planted another desert willow on that little median that used to just be rocks and thorn trees. And that's why I took out all the rocks, because people trip on them when they walk on them. And also what grew in the rocks best, besides the thorn trees, was grass. So we were always having to weed eat the rocks. And it's very hard to weed eat rocks and thorn trees. So that's why the rocks had to go. Now it's just going to be grass. It's very easy to keep mowed, and one tree. And here's in front of the penstemon. That's another kind of salvia. The bees are supposed to love that, and the bees will actually climb up into the flower. It's really cute because you just see this little honeybee butt sticking out of the flowers. They're very happy if it grows. I found that was when I first started, it was all bushy and grassy, and I just kind of had to slowly trim my way in there because I didn't really know what was all in there. And I found a crepe myrtle, and it was in bad shape, but it seems to have finally started to recover and start to thrive. And white yarrow, that's another good plant butterfly. Is what I've planted out there. And Zexminia, another great, supposed to be drought tolerant, and the animals love them. And yes, our Vitex, that was already out there, just trimmed it up, so it'll grow up. And that's what I have planted out there, and that's what I would like to do. We have 7 purple martin babies right now being fed and taken care of in the house, 3 more eggs to go. And I'd love to see some bluebird houses out there. However, these things have to be maintained and mowed around. So I'm going to be working with Pete on that. That's my plans.